What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and I'm going to give you my top 10 Auburn players for the upcoming 2021 college football season. When we talk about top 10, we're talking about the 10 guys that will make the biggest impact for Auburn this upcoming season. There's probably going to be some guys that kind of come out of nowhere that we can't really see. You know, a wide receiver, for example. You would expect a wide receiver to step up on this team, but figuring out who that guy is going to be is really tough. So we do have to kind of look back to the past, look at last season, look at these players throughout their career, and just kind of give you our top 10 players for the upcoming season and the guys that I think are going to have the biggest impact. So let's start with number 10. That is Derick Hall. All right, so you're going to be talking about a 3-4 defense, a 4-3 defense. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I think they want to do a 3-4 defense. So you're going to see Derick Hall kind of play maybe at the outside linebacker spot, maybe at defensive end, but it's a guy that I think is going to be a pass rusher. At the end of the day, that's what he's going to do. Last season, he had 21 tackles, not a ton of playing time, 4 tackles for loss. All of those were sacks, so all of his tackles for loss were sacks. He also forced a fumble in there as well. He's a guy that I think has a chance to be that next big disruptor in the backfield, a pass rusher that can really make an impact for them. We know Auburn has had a bunch of great ones over the last 10 years or so. I think Derick Hall will step up this year and wind up being one of their top players there in the front seven. Speaking of the front seven, we're going to go to Colby Wooden at number 9. Another guy that I think is going to be really big for them in the pass rush game, but also in the run game as well. He had 9 tackles for loss last season, 41 tackles overall, 3.5 sacks. Will play on that defensive line, and I think he also will have a chance to be a really big force for them. So these two guys, Derick Hall, Colby Wooden, I think will be 2 of their better pass rushers this season, but who knows? Maybe there'll be another guy emerge, a youngster. It's going to be very tough to predict what's going to happen with Auburn this season with a new coaching staff, a lot of changes. Don't know exactly how all the pieces are going to fit until we see it on the field, but I think Wooden will have a big impact for them. I believe he was third team, I think, on the preseason All-American list, or All-Conference list, I should say, from Athlon. And it's a guy that I think, again, is going to have a big impact. Number 9 is Nick Brahms on the offensive line. 21 career starts over 3 seasons. He was the third team All-Conference center from Athlon, according to Athlon's preseason magazine. And he's really the leader up front. He is the guy, really the one steady force for Auburn on the offensive line. They've had their issues the last couple of years, but Nick Brahms has been pretty strong for them when he's been healthy, when he's been in there leading the way. He has been probably their best offensive lineman, and he is going to be the leader again this year. So watch for Nick Brahms to be, I think, their best offensive lineman this upcoming season. Number 7 is Bo Nix. All right, let's talk about his stats from last year. 2,415 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, but 7 interceptions. Also had 388 rush yards, 7 touchdowns. And I know some are going to say there's no way he should be on this list. Bo Nix is terrible. It was a rough year for him. I'll admit that. That's not a good touchdown to interception ratio, 12-7. It's not horrible, but it's not great. And just a lot of bad decisions, a lot of times where he just didn't set his feet, made a lot of bad throws. Really inaccurate at times. Just as a passer, yeah, he's got a lot of work to do. But with this new coaching staff, I think they're going to get him turned around. I think he's going to be fixed this year. I think this is still a guy that's been able to, he beat Alabama as a freshman. He beat Oregon in his first career start. He's got the it factor. He's got the competitiveness. He can run and scramble for a big first down if you need it. He's got a lot of the intangibles that you need. Just needs to improve as a passer to really become a great player. I mean, he has again the tools to be a great player. Will they be able to get all that fixed? I don't know, but I think he will make a big impact for them. If nothing else, again, just what he can do in the run game, what he can do scrambling. He's going to be, I think, improved this year, and I look for Bo Nix to be one of the top players for Auburn this upcoming season. Number 6 is Roger McCreary at cornerback. He had 45 tackles last season, 7 tackles for loss. That's a lot of tackles for loss for a cornerback. Just shows you that he can get up there, get physical in the run game when he needs to. But he's their best corner. Had 3 interceptions last season, 6 passes defended, also forced a fumble. We're talking about a guy that has a chance to maybe even be a first-team All-SEC type player at that cornerback spot. Probably going to get drafted in the NFL. I think he actually had a chance to maybe leave last season and go to the draft, but going to come back, try to improve that stock. and probably a good idea, because I think he now has a chance to really maybe emerge as even a top first round, not a top, but a first round pick, second round pick, something like that. So I think a good decision for him to come back, and I think he's going to be a big part of this defense. A secondary that is really deep for Auburn. They've got a lot of depth there in the secondary. Corner, safety, both positions look really solid for them. And McCreary, I think, leads the way there at corner. Speaking of defense, we go to Owen Pappoe at number 5 at the linebacker spot. 93 tackles last season, 6 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. Also had an interception, had a fumble recovery, broke up 2 passes as well. And a guy that just has a ton of speed, can play sideline to sideline, especially in the run game. I think that's where you can see him really make an impact. You look at this linebacker group, and they should be pretty strong. Again, it's very interesting to see what's going to happen with this defense. They run more of a 3-4, more of a 4-3. I think if you see them in a 3-4, he's probably one of those interior linebackers. If they run a 3-4, he's going to be on the outside. And again, a guy with a lot of speed that I think can make a lot of plays. Make plays behind the line of scrimmage as well. Watch out for him to be a potential all-SEC player this season. Number 4 is Anders Carlson, the kicker. He was 20 of 22 on his field goals last season, 5 for 5 for 40 to 49, and 2 for 3 from 50+. So on 40+ yard field goals, he was 7 for 8. Really solid on the long kicks. Made all of his extra points except for 1. He is, I believe, the number 2 or the second team All-American kicker according to Athlon's preseason magazine. Just expect him to, he's just a solid, steady kicker. Just rarely misses. Has the long leg, the big legs, so he can make the long kicks for you. It's really just what you want at that kicker spot. And I expect him to have, once again, another big year this year. Probably go on to have some success in the NFL as well. Number 3 is Smoke Monday at safety. Another guy that maybe could have gone to the NFL last season, but decided to come back for his senior season. 73 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 1 sack last season, 2 interceptions, broke up 3 passes, 1 forced fumble. A guy that's really just all over the field. You see him making interceptions. You see him making plays behind the line of scrimmage. He's had some pick sixes in his career. Just a guy that is really a leader for them in the secondary, and I think he was one of the top safeties in the SEC. Smoke Monday at number 3. Number 2, we stay on the defensive side of the ball. Zakoby McClain at linebacker. I think he's the best defender on this team and really emerged last year as a guy that, we didn't really know a whole lot. Didn't know what we were going to get from him when they had the opt-out, but he really stepped up. 113 tackles last season, 5.5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 pass defended. But just look at the numbers there. 113 tackles in a shortened season. Zakoby McClain all over the field. I think he's the leader for them on defense. I think he's their best player on that side of the ball. But the number 1 player for me is on the other side of the ball. At number 1, we've got Tank Bigsby at running back. 138 carries last year as a true freshman. 834 yards rushing, 6 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns. What can you say about this kid? He's got it all. He's got the explosiveness, he's got the speed, he's got the power. He is the total package, and I think at the end of this year, you might see Tank Bigsby as one, maybe a top 3, top 4 running back in all of college football. I'm expecting big things from him if he can stay healthy. This is a potential dark horse Heisman type candidate, and I think they're going to use him a little bit more in the passing game with this Brian Harsin offense. So I just expect him to continue to get better and better. A guy that is just so tough to bring down. One of the best running backs at just breaking tackles really in all of college football. I think he's the best player on this Auburn team. And again, at the end of the year, I think you're going to be talking about Tank Bigsby as one of the top running backs in all of college football. I've got him at number 1. Do you guys agree or disagree with my list? Where would you move players up? Where would you move them down? Who did I leave off that you think maybe should be on this list? Give me your thoughts down in the comments below, and thank you for watching this video.